And we're back. Hall here with another Hall of Code lesson. Let's dive right in. We're going to be looking at box sizing. The CSS box sizing, especially the border box property, allows us to include the padding and border in an element's total width and height. If you look here, you see there are two different boxes here, two different div boxes. Each div has 300 pixels. But one has 10 pixels of padding and 30 pixels of border, which creates a much larger size div box as 380 as opposed to this one being at 300. So if box sizing is border box, the total width will stay at 300. If box sizing is the default, which is content box, which we never really do, the box will increase in size because you're adding the padding and the border around the content. Let's take a look. So we have here an HTML document, which I added some style already to it. We have a div class called group, and nested inside that div class called group, we have three divs: div class box A, box B, and box C. And then we have the closing div to close out the group div. In box A, you have content that says no padding, no border. Box B says padding and border. And then box C says padding and border plus border box. So let's take a look at the CSS. And I'll give everybody a minute to go ahead and put this information in. But what you see here, we have some body style with a little bit of padding, and we also have a text align for the H2 to center. And we styled the div box. We gave it 200 pixels of width, 200 pixels of height. The text color is black, background color light blue, and as you can see, the rest is there too. And as you can see, all three boxes are the same size right now. Okay, but we're gonna add A, B, and C. We're gonna add some styling to A, B, and C, and you'll see how these boxes might look a little bit different as we style them. Okay, for A, we're just going to add a background color, and we'll say green, and we'll give it a little different shade of green. Okay, and so that's the only thing we're going to do for A, is change the background color. Now for B, what we're going to do is we're going to add some padding to B, and we'll put 20 pixels of padding to B, and we'll also put a border around B. All right, and now you can see the box is a little bit larger than the other two because we added 20 pixels of padding around each side. So that increased the size of the box. Now let's style C. And for C, we're gonna add padding, 20 pixels, border, but this time we're going to add box sizing, border, box. Box sizing border box tells the browser the total width and height should include padding and border. That same 200 by 100 is now used to fit everything inside. Content shrinks to make room for padding and border. As a result, the box stays exactly 200 by 100. It doesn't increase the size like this other one that does not have any border box sizing in it. That's the difference. Okay, now we're going to take all this styling out, and I'm going to talk about something called universal styling. Now we're going to look at the universal selector that has the star or the asterisk. The CSS universal selector selects all elements of any type. The example above is a universal CSS property that everyone should use. Now notice right here we have a little bit of margin and padding around this H1. It's hard to tell, but I'm going to right click and choose inspect, and over here I'm going to click on body and click this little drop down arrow. Now these are the developer tools. We haven't talked much about these yet, but we will soon enough, especially when we get into JavaScript. And here's the div, here's the box. Notice that when I put my mouse over the H2, you see that padding and that margin around the H2. Why is this important? Because you want to be consistent in all browsers the way you size an element or elements in your website. You don't want any weird spacing surprises. You want your website to be reliable and easy to manage. So right here, we're going to add the star or the universal selector, and we're going to say padding 0, and we're going to say margin 0. Now look, there is no space. If we go back and inspect the code and put our mouse over the H2, notice there is no margin in that H2. And then we're also going to go ahead and put box sizing border box. Now, if I go back and take out all that code before and then add my universal selector, now you can see all three of these boxes have the box sizing of border box. I don't have to worry about putting it here and see anymore because it's in everything inside of my border and it looks consistent. And that's what you want, your boxes to look consistent.